UFC Vegas 110. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. Happy Halloween to everybody watching live, and I'm looking forward to talking about each of the matchups on this card after seeing the fighters on the scales. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and the post notifications on. Make sure you share the video too. And also note, live stream, full card fight companion, Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern time for UFC Vegas 110. Let's get into the first fight of the night. The ladies going after it. Talita Alencar, Hyeon Carnelossi. I've been picking the Alencar side throughout the week, but not without some worry. Carnelossi is freakishly jacked. You'll see it at the weigh-ins here in a moment. She's got decent striking, Muay Thai-based striker, aggressive. Not like Muay Thai and you're thinking of John Matsumoto with technique and slickness or, Jose Aldo Muay Thai. No, more of like, let me just get up in your face and wing some heavy shots and throw hard. The problem with Carnelossi is she's over-aggressive, puts herself out of position, and has pretty bad takedown defense. Alencar on the opposite side, high-level jiu-jitsu, good takedown threat, good top control. But there's the element of Alencar being a 6-1 pro at 35 versus Carnelossi 15-3 at 32. She's got a lot more MMA experience. But with all those fights, Carnelossi is really not technical at all. If you told me she was 6-1 with the way that she fights, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm like, yeah, it looks like a girl with less than 10 fights. It's one of those matchups that I feel like you're flipping a coin, and we got big dog status on Carnelossi, which I think is going to intrigue a lot of people. She'll be around plus, 180 or something along those lines. But is she a reliable fighter to bet on? Not really. Got saved in her last fight against Piara Rodriguez because Piara decides, hey, I'm going back to old school Mark Coleman ground and pound, and I'm going to headbutt the hell out of you. It made 0 sense. I didn't get that. Fight before that, it was actually some time ago. It was 3 years, 5 months ago. Lupi Godinez wrestled her up. I feel like Alencar can hit some key takedowns. She's been pretty active since she's been in the UFC, fighting about every 6 months. We haven't seen Carnelossi in 1 year and 5 months. Before that, it was a 2-year layoff. So inconsistent fighting versus a girl that's more active. And Alencar has been competing at least one time at UFC BJJ. I'm going to favor Alencar's grappling. I think she hit some key takedowns and controls from top position. And to be fair, 6 months ago against Demopoulos, she looked really good. She absolutely dominated Demop on the ground. And Demopoulos, I mean, she's not elite, right? She's 11-6 at the time, but she's a decent fighter. I think Talita Alencar should be good to go in this matchup. And I'm going to say she gets it done grappling-based decision. Now, when I say good to go, that is not me telling you run out and bet it now. To be fair, on the scale, I felt like she looked solid, definitely in shape, as Alencar normally is. High-level grappling, trains hard for this shit, trying to put it all together at 35. I doubt she's on a contendership run, but she's a girl that, I respect what she can do on the mat. On the opposite side, if you covered the face and told me that was a dude in a half tank, I wouldn't be shocked. Freakishly jacked. Hyeon Carnelossi looks like she's blasting some fucking testosterone with the way that her frame is built. She's a one-of-one specimen. Outside of fighting, easy women's bodybuilding run. She probably has way more potential in women's bodybuilding than she ever would fighting, but seems to like to throw down. Obviously, she's got a scrappy style. It makes sense. There's the face-off between the two. You can see Carnelossi, though she's like freakishly jacked, it's good muscle insertions as well. It's not like she's like crazy thicker in her frame than Alencar. She just has way more muscular arms and popping delts. She must do a lot of bodybuilding style training. Like, I can't imagine that's all just from doing MMA. I know I've seen her doing curls and shit like that. Like, she's a side hustle bodybuilder. And I think that she can definitely transition to bodybuilding post-fighting. And I think if you got her in women's bodybuilding now, she's going to be ranked higher than she ever will be in women's MMA. Now, as far as the odds side of the fight, we'll talk the betting lines between the two of the ladies right now. Let's jump into the odds. I got to zoom in. I know it looks ugly right here, but hold on. Money line odds, Alencar minus 225, Carnelossi at plus 190. There's really not much I would consider on the Alencar side. I'm not like, yeah, man, that's a sneaky line. Alencar to go out and win. Fuck that. Probably a fight that goes over 2.5 rounds at minus 245. That makes a lot of sense to me. I think about the props outside of that for these ladies. Over 2.5. What else are we looking at? Even Alencar by decision, minus 105 is just not it. If you want something interesting and you like Alencar to win, this is by no means me telling you this is a lock. By no means is this me telling you go out and do this. But I'm telling you, if I had to pick something that I think is possible and it's not just an over 2.5, you could go with Alencar wins and the over 1.5 at minus 185, or potentially even the over 2.5 and Alencar to winning at minus 125. It's ugly though. It's ugly. I think the fight goes over 2.5. That's where the most confidence on my end lies. I think Carnelossi could make it a decent fight. If you like the plus 3.5, you think it's 29-28, it's minus 150. For Carnelossi, if she's, within the 5.5 point margin, I mean, at that point, I feel like just go for the minus 150 on the plus 3.5. Maybe a Carnelossi spread on the opposite side. I think the odds paint a fight that is not what the reality is. So, like, if you're looking to, chase Carnelossi, maybe like, yo, I like Carnelossi by decision. Well, you got 4-1 odds. Good luck. For me, I think low-level ladies, first fight of the night, the best bet you can do is probably nothing at all and just sitting down and watching, or maybe an over 2.5 rounds. So the pick is Alencar to get it done, but low confidence. I don't know. Carnelossi's durable. I think they go over 2.5 rounds. That's what makes the most sense to me. So we're going to go Alencar decision to start the night off. Close money on the decision. So it's not like you can even make that much if you're betting her on the decision. Next fight is Phil Rowe versus Seok Hyeon. I almost want to cry breaking this one down. I feel a little bit sad. I'm going against my guy, Phil Rowe, and I might be really fucking myself. Multiple guys on this card. I'm going against some of my cult favorites. I like Phil Rowe. I pick Phil Rowe a lot. Why am I picking Co? I think Co is probably going to be able to get on the inside and win some striking exchanges and mix in some takedowns. Phil Rowe was losing that Angelosa fight badly. He got dropped. He was getting cracked. Like, it was just falling apart. He had moments, but overall, Losa was up. First 2 rounds, Losa. Phil Rowe was my underdog lock that week, and he fought his ass off and kept coming, swinging hard till the final bell. But don't get me wrong. If Losa had cardio, he would have won that decision. Losa was a corpse at the end, completely gassed, and Rowe, no quitting the man, put it on him. I don't see Co with the bad habits of Losa. I think Losa's a pretty mediocre fighter. I've never been high on Angelosa, and that's why I thought Phil Rowe would be good to go. But the fight actually was tougher than I thought it would be. I thought Rowe would do better. Like, he was looking bad. Like, he was on his back trying to play jiu-jitsu from bottom. Co has a combat sambo and judo base, 2 green flags for if they go to the ground. I think Co is more often than not the guy that ends up in top position, which is why I like the prediction of Co. I think the boxing from distance for Rowe could definitely be sharp and he could have some moments, but the problem lies not at long range, at the maintenance of the long range. Phil Rowe with a 9.5 reach advantage isn't one of those guys that I'm confident in picking shots from the outside, circling, moving, and bang, bang, banging them. We're in the small cage too, so expect Co to close that gap. I think Co can give him trouble in close range with the southpaw stance as well. I think Co can get in close, kind of pin him up against the cage and have some moments. I think it's a competitive fight. I think it potentially goes over 2.5 rounds. I could even see Phil Rowe making it close and stealing a round. I'm not so sure. I know a lot of people like Co by KO, but I'm not so sure about that. I think decision. I think the fight going longer. I think a competitive back and forth. I feel like Phil Rowe gives Co a bit of a test, but I think Co's going to be the guy to avenge South Korea. South Korea is on a bad losing streak in the UFC. They've been getting killed fight to fight to fight. I think Co is one to watch from South Korea. He's pretty solid, man. And I think that he's going to be able to close that gap on Phil Rowe and do some work. Now, of course, you'll see when we bring up the scales, like, it's a tall order because there is a serious differential in the freaking height between the two. First, we'll just bring up the generic weigh in on the scales. We got Phil Rowe up first. We'll showcase him. Looked pretty sucked out and dry, a little bit exhausted at the weigh-in. You definitely can see that he's feeling the effects of this weight cut, but definitely in shape. Definitely looks pretty decent, shredded up. Phil Rowe at 170 and 6 feet 3 inches tall. He's going to have a six pack. And then you look on the opposite end of it. You got Ko. He looked pretty good, I felt, pretty jacked up, in shape. Confidence is there. But at the face-off, it almost looks like two heads above him, man. The height difference is the one element of this fight that I have to say. I don't want to go as far as it gets in my head. But there is a pretty vast differential in height between the two. And it's going to be interesting to see how Ko deals with that. Now, I will say, for some clarity and confidence on the side of Ko, he beat Igor Cavalcanti, who was an inch taller than him, but did have an 8.5-inch reach advantage. So the reach advantage for Rowe, definitely there, but it's not like Ko has not fought a guy with long arms before. I think Ko is going to be able to find his way on the inside. I think he's going to be able to work close punches, and I think he can get on top, and I think he can outwork Phil Rowe. Rowe's a tough second UFC fight, man. No joke. They're giving him Phil Rowe. This is a test, but I think it's a test that he can end up passing here. Let's check out the betting lines between the two. So Phil Rowe is a plus 150 dog, and I think a lot of people are going to want to bite on it. Are you crazy for betting it? No. I'm not telling you stay away. If you like that side, okay. I'm not running out and chasing Ko to win. I do think he wins as far as the prediction goes. Am I chasing a minus 175 money line? No. But I do think Ko against Oban Elliott looked pretty damn good. I feel like this fight's going over 2.5 at minus 155. I think it's going over 1.5 at minus 310. Even more confidence. Obviously, that's why the line's wider. Ko by decision makes the most sense to me at plus 150. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, Rowe by decision in the plus 400 range, if that's something that you're feeling. If you're interested in going with like Ko and over 1.5 rounds, it's not worth it. Minus 130. Ko and over 2.5 rounds, only plus 110. Again, not really worth it. The spread on Rowe is minus 150. I mean, I could see Rowe winning a round, but at minus 150, you want to chase it. Do you want to chase it at minus 150? I think Ko gets it done. I think Ko goes out, wins a competitive decision. I'm going to say Ko on the cards. Now, of course, if you're a meme-based bettor, Ko by KO, it's almost like the universe is trying to bait you into that. Like, listen, the guy's name is Ko, for God's sake. KO is the last name. You're not going to bet him by KO at a bigger plus money tag? It'd be D-Gen. Not impossible, but it'd probably be D-Gen. I'll say we got Ko on the scorecards in a competitive fight, but a fight where he breaks through and starts slowly climbing the ranks. Man, if Jake Matthews can do it, I think Ko can do it too. Next fight on the card, ladies going after it again. Montserrat Conejo Ruiz versus Elise Ardelean. I've been picking Elise Ardelean throughout the week. I think the odds are a little too wide, though. I think Ardelean's a better striker for sure and just a better fighter. The issue with Conejo Ruiz, she's a headlock-based wrestler. What does that mean? So the headlock, right? You grab the opponent and you drag them down. Very popular in, middle school wrestling and women's MMA at a lower level. Haven't seen it nearly as often in this modern era, but there was a lot of headlocks, several years ago. That's her style. Like, Ruiz is looking to headlock you. She wants to put you in a damn headlock. She wants to drag your ass down, and she wants to control you. She doesn't have a great top game. She doesn't have a crafty submission game, and she also doesn't fight very often. Her last fight was nearly 2 years ago. The fight before that, it was 3 months, so she didn't have a long layoff. Finished by Amarim, finished by Mora. Fight before that was 4 years ago against Amanda Lemos. Her last win 4 years, 7 months ago against Cheyenne Vlismas, formerly Cheyenne Bays. That's so long ago. Ardelean's coming off the win against Rayani Dos Santos, where I thought she looked pretty good. And Dos Santos is a lot more of a well-rounded fighter than Montserrat Ruiz is. And I think that we're going to see Ardelean defend the headlock, land some shots. I wouldn't be shocked if she ends up on top. Conejo Ruiz, she doesn't have great takedown defense, as good as her offensive headlock game is, and she's a 7-time national wrestling champ from Mexico. it just isn't enough for me. I'm not picking her. Both girls' records are ugly. 10-7 is worse, but hey, it's a lot of experience. And if you include her exhibition win, she's 12-7. Lost to Melissa Martinez, who's a good striker, and then the one against Bannon honestly could have went her way on a short notice debut. I think Ardelean on the judges' scorecards, that makes the most sense to me. I see her getting it done by nitty gritty decision. Let's bring the ladies up on the scale. Let's find the ladies. Let's pop them up on the screen, and we'll talk about them. First up, we'll bring Elise Ardelean. Looked in shape. She looks nice. No negative comments about it. She's ready to go here. Montserrat Ruiz, I mean, she's a lifetime wrestler, bro. I expect her to make weight, look good on the scale, and be ready to go. She had some scintillating biceps. She's got sick artwork on her. I mean, she's tatted up like a savage. It's just, she looks so badass. I remember when she was coming up, and I remember when she fought Lemos years ago, and I was like, yo, this girl looks like a badass. And, you know, it's been, what, 2 fights since then? And that was like the early days of the channel. I can't go out and pick her, man. I think that Ardelean, though the odds are hideous, I think Ardelean wins. And Ardelean's going to be a tad bit taller. You can see at the face-off, a little bit of a size advantage for Ardelean, not much. I'll be honest, the Halloween look, though, from Montserrat Ruiz is accurate. She looks like a fucking wicked witch of the damn Midwest or something like that. Holy shit. I think Ardelean's the better fighter. More well-rounded, more refined MMA game. Elise Ardelean to win on the judges' scorecards. That's going to be my prediction here. I think she gets a decision. She might look for a stoppage. I mean, listen, maybe she's going out throwing some heavy shots. Maybe Ruiz gets KO'd. Seeing that Ruiz is, got the weakness of ground and pound KO losses, the odds are going to tempt you for the KO. I'll bring them up in one sec. The money line's -400. So wide lines down the center. If you're looking towards the prop betting, though, as I said, the KO prop for Ardelean, if you think she can stop her, I'm not crazy about it. +300, but upwards of +450, depending where you're betting at. Ardelean inside distance. You want to go Montserrat Ruiz to get a stoppage? +1,000. Was Ardelean and over 1.5 rounds? Can I find some goodness here? -250. I mean, it's better than -400. Ardelean and over 2.5 rounds. -160. I think that they go distance, and I'm going to say Ardelean gets it on the cards. You'll be tempted to probably go KO prop if you're, deciding to bet it, or maybe you're a Montserrat Ruiz D-Gen. You want to play her at +300, or maybe you want to touch the damn sub prop at +1,000. But for me personally, not really feeling the side. Not really feeling it. Oops. Not really feeling it. So it is what it is. We'll go with the side of Ardelean. But some ugly lines to start this card off. I'm not liking it, man. But there's some underdogs coming. Don't worry. There's some underdogs coming. Ketlen Vieira versus Norma Dumont. Not yet an underdog. I'm going Dumont by a decision. Dumont's a better striker. Dumont's more mobile. Dumont's got better boxing combinations. She got better footwork. Jiu-jitsu game matches Ketlen Vieira's offensive grappling attack. Ketlen Vieira's a little bit slower with the stand-up, the, Muay Thai-based power striking, but I think that Norma Dumont can touch her up. Norma Dumont looked great over a year ago, but against Irene Aldana, I got to take this damn jacket off, man. I'm getting hot, bro. I'm getting fucking hot as hell in here. I feel like a male stripper. I'm taking this thing off. I feel like we're going to see Norma Dumont land some clean shots, win some competitive striking exchanges, and outbox Ketlen Vieira to a close decision. I think Vieira can have some moments in the clinch. I can see her landing some heavy kicks. I can see her missing with some wider shots. I think she's going to try to wrestle a bit. I think Dumont stops the takedown. Vieira's going to try to impose her will and use a size advantage, a slight size advantage. I think Dumont's too well-versed for that, too adept to it. Training with Shoot That Box. I think she's dating Marco Tullio from that gym. I feel like we're going to see Norma Dumont look pretty solid. And I think the win streak she's on, too, she's got 5 in a row. She looks like the contender to keep an eye on, whereas Ketlen Vieira has been trading wins and losses. And to be fair, lost to Kayla Harrison is not the end of the world. Beat Macy Chi ass on. Up, though, at 45. I'm going to go with Dumont to get it done. I think Dumont can win. I think Dumont can get it done by a judge's decision. They're going into the later stages. Dumont by decision is what makes the most sense to me. We'll check these ladies out on the scale. All right, let's keep looking. How many ladies? Can we fucking chill on the ladies' fights, please? Can we please chill on the ladies' fights? Ketlen Vieira in shape, ready to go. I got no notes about her on the scale besides she looks good. She looks like a friend of mine's ex-girlfriend, actually. And then on the opposite side, we got Norma Dumont. They could be cousins, though. Both Brazilian, both brunettes. Norma Dumont, dump truck Dumont's got to be the way, though. And we'll check out how they look at the face-off. All right? Let's get the face-off between the ladies brought up now. Where the hell is this face-off? A little bit of the size edge for Ketlen Vieira. Not much. Nothing that I'm thinking too much about. I feel like Norma Dumont is going to be able to touch her with some clean shots. Win a competitive fight. It's not going to be a knockout. Dumont's not going to buzzsaw through Ketlen Vieira. It's going to get put to the test. But I think we're going to see Norma Dumont show the improvements that she's made over this recent 5-fight win streak. I'm not too concerned about the year off. I think she comes out looking confident. And I think her winning judges' scorecards makes, for me, the most sense. Let's bring it up now. Let's bring up the odds. So betting lines for the fight, -170 for Norma Dumont. Ketlen Vieira +145. I think this fight's going over 2.5 at -410. I'd be surprised if this fight does not go over 2.5 rounds. Like, if this fight is a finish, I'll be sitting here shell-shocked. One of these girls wins by knockout? I don't think so. Not crazy about thinking this fight gets a finish. I think Dumont decision. Ugly line, though. -115, +100. Kind of boring. Dumont and the over 2.5. Is that better than her winning by decision? I doubt it, but let's see. Dumont and the over 2.5, -135. I think that she wins that way. Dumont -3.5. I don't know about a 30-27. I think Vieira's live to hit that spread at the 3.5. I'm seeing 29-28. If Dumont 30-27s her, I feel like that's kind of a big deal. I see the side of Norma Dumont as the more well-versed striker. More weapons to be had. Touches her up more often than not. Lands the bigger and better shots. And I say she goes out and gets a decent win. Let's run to the next fight. All right? Let's keep making waves up in here. Let's make some magic happen. Donte Johnson versus Cedric Dumas. So I tried my absolute hardest to find a new look of his knee that seemed to have a bit of a staph infection. I couldn't find the perfect angle for it. I watched the weigh-ins. I looked online. I saw on his Instagram they had the other side. It's just, it seems like it's pretty much gone if the staph infection was there a couple weeks ago. So remains to be seen, but he did seem to be battling some type of staph infection at some point throughout camp. Nonetheless, I'm picking Donte Johnson to win. The caveat being here, first time at 185, potentially fighting through a staph infection all week, or all camp, maybe not all camp, maybe for moments of camp against a UFC veteran. Johnson seems to have some upside. He's a good power hitter, a little bit wild and reckless, but closes that gap with big, powerful shots. Looks to knock people out. He's a first-round KO type of guy and seems to have legit power. I mean, KO in a heavyweight means a lot, regardless of Darian Abbey being a mediocre heavyweight. He still knocked out a heavyweight on Contender Series. Cedric Dumas, he's inconsistent with his fighting career, takes his fight on short notice. He's decent from the outside and honestly doesn't have awful boxing. If he can slow this fight down and he can turn it more into a fight going into the later stages, we're going to find out a lot, because Donte Johnson hasn't been long in his fighting career. It's been first-round knockouts galore. I'll say this. If this fight leaves the first round, Cedric Dumas' odds of winning jumps a lot. Donte Johnson has power and is going to be looking to put Dumas out round one. Overhand shots. Watch for him. The pick is still Donte Johnson. But I will say, first time making this weight, young guy, only 6 pro fights and fucking 5 within the year, within the 7 months. So he's kind of brand new to the pro fighting game. You can see him on the scale here. Kid looked in great shape. Of course, every angle I looked for had the knee cut off. Looks solid, though. Shredded up from heavyweight to middleweight. Definitely, this is his right weight class. Looks serious. On the opposite side, Cedric Dumas, honestly, looked like Cedric Dumas normally does. Looks excited to be there. He's happy to collect the check. Maybe slug some fists and land some big shots. The thing with Dumas is he's so unreliable. It's a battle of prospect that seemingly has upside, and it's a battle of veteran that just simply does not. You can see Dumas a little bit taller. You can see Johnson a little more muscle bound. I favor the power punch advantage. I will say Johnson didn't seem like overly confident at the weigh-in. He seemed very respectful of Dumas at the weigh-in. I think we're going to find out a lot about Donte Johnson. I mean, if he goes out there and sleeps Cedric Dumas, definitely blue chip prospect. If he goes out there and gets handled by a guy with more UFC experience, then damn, Cedric Dumas keeps the roster spot. And maybe we've been over-hating him a bit and overrating powerful guys coming off Contender Series. I will say Nick Maximov won at heavyweight, and then he ended up being a shit bum in the UFC. To be fair, he was boring as fuck on Contender Series, whereas Johnson got a first-round KO. Minus 350 for Johnson, plus 285 for Cedric Dumas. Fight is expected to end in the first round. Even Johnson by KO round one is not great. It's minus 275 inside distance, minus 225 to win by KO. Johnson round one, minus 115. Johnson KO round one, plus 105. This could be one of those fights, though. Whereas if Johnson gets pushed a little bit in the first round, that Cedric Dumas side could potentially be a live bet. Like if it makes it outside of the first round, Dumas is definitely live to beat a tired Donte Johnson on the ground and grind out a win or potentially submit him. But I think Donte Johnson's power is legit. It's just one of those, it remains to be seen at a high level. Like if you're picking Cedric Dumas to win, Dumas probably wins with the over a round and a half coming through as well, which is plus 500. Johnson and the under half a round is plus 250 if you want to chase that, but that's risky business. My prediction is Donte Johnson by KO. I'm sticking with that side. I think he's a good prospect, powerful athlete, aggressive striker. Dumas does have UFC experience, even though he has relatively inconsistent results. And the guys he has beaten in the UFC are not, notable or hyper elite guys. Wins over Dennis Tululin and Abu Azaitar, which, they don't mean a lot to me. I think that Johnson's overhand shot should land. Dumas makes some mistakes of like dipping his head and kind of cowering to big shots at times. And I think Donte Johnson can end up putting Dumas away with big overhands and like turning it into more of a firefight. If Dumas is to win, he survives the early barrage. Johnson got a staph infection, Johnson with a hard weight cut, and then Johnson gasses and Dumas beats him in the second or third round or potentially even by a judge's decision. For a prospect coming in, Johnson's hype is a little overly wide. At least the betting hype on him, because minus 375 and 88% of the people picking him. It's not like Cedric Dumas is just a corpse. And the guys Dumas has lost to recently, Rizzy Boyev, who's very good, and Oleg Jacek, who's very good. But I do think Donte Johnson's power could be an ultimate difference maker. And I think he's really dialed in and focused on this fighting game, whereas I never really know where Dumas's head is at. Can't really back a guy like that. I'm going to go Donte Johnson by knockout in this fight. Next fight on the card, Timmy Cuamba versus Chang Ho Lee. I think Timmy Cuamba is going to look good. I was excited about today because we get to see Timmy Cuamba make 135 for the first time in his UFC and pro career. I think he's going to go out and upset Chang Ho Lee. I mean, he's the favorite, so it's like even odds. But Chang Ho Lee had hype. I just don't think Chang Ho Lee is that good, man. 31-year-old prospect. I think he's overrated. Pressure style, gets in your face, looks to throw hard, looks for takedowns, looks to work in the clinch, whereas like Cuamba is just a dangerous striker with power, explosive punches, kicks. Watch out for his flying knees. He's got good instincts. He's 26 years old. Bro, Timmy Cuamba is a fucking prospect to watch. His losses in the UFC are a debut on very short notice, less than a week, against Balaji Oki when he fought the week before, and he went to a split decision. He then lost to Lucas Almeida, who had both hands in that fight. And, he still did fairly well in the third round. And then he beat Roberto Romero, who dropped David Onama, and he fucking knocked him out. He landed a flying knee and then stopped him. Like, Timmy Cuamba is good, and he keeps getting better. Chang Ho Lee, I mean, he ran through Cortavius Romeus. That doesn't mean anything to me. I think Timmy Cuamba is going to be solid in this UFC bantamweight debut, and I think this could really be the right weight class for him. I'm expecting some big things from Timmy Cuamba this weekend. I think he's going to look really good. I like him a lot to win, guys. I have to say, I believe in Cuamba's skill set here. I think he's going to have a big striking advantage, and I think Chang Ho Lee, he's overrated, man. He's overrated. Timmy Cuamba's got some aura, too. He's rocking the goatee. Looks fucking ripped and shredded, but he doesn't look to have had a hellish weight cut. Seems like he had a proper weight cut. Seems like an in-shape bantamweight weight cut. I think Timmy Cuamba is going to show out. We saw Charles Jourdain start his UFC career at 155, goes down to 135. Look at him now. Cuamba's doing it earlier. There's Chang Ho Lee, also in very good shape, I must add. I can't shit on Chang Ho Lee's physicality. Guy looks fucking ripped. And he's a good fighter at 11-1. He's got a nice record. There's the face-off between the two. Cuamba, a little bit taller. I think Chang Ho Lee's getting dusted, man. The South Koreans been doing bad. I think Ko should break their losing streak earlier in the night, and then Chang Ho Lee puts him back on a losing streak. I favor the side of Cuamba to land big shots. I think he's the better striker. I think he defends the grappling, and I think that he hurts Chang Ho Lee and potentially flatlines him. Yeah, I like Cuamba a lot. Finally, somebody to take out Chang Ho Lee. I found my hitman, and I'm confident in Timmy Cuamba to win. I don't give a fuck. He's part of the two-leg Lock City parlay at -119. If he was an underdog, I would have just dog locked him. I like his chances a lot. -119, Cuamba goes out. I got him to win. But I'm also saying he's getting a knockout. It ain't going to be a decision. I think it could be a decision, though. I'm not trying to say it's not possible for a decision. But I think that KO around +500 for Cuamba, who has power, who's an explosive and violence-first striker, I think he can show out and sleep Lee. I think Cuamba's going to look nice here. This is a big spot for Cuamba. Cuamba and the under 2.5. What are the odds for that? Let's see. Cuamba and under 2.5 rounds. Let's see. I'm seeing over. Where's the under? They don't have Cuamba and under 2.5. What? They only have Cuamba and over 2.5. Boring. Cuamba and under 1.5 is +650. I mean, he could get it earlier, but now you're in, Chaseville, USA. I like Cuamba to win, and I like Cuamba to win by violence. I think Cuamba goes out and stops him. I think Cuamba's going to make it a fucking performance, man. I'm excited as hell to witness this shit. The money line is perfectly set. -118. You don't have to chase anything. You can go right down the center. You can back Cuamba straight. You don't need to chase nothing crazy. Now, of course, this is not gambling advice. This is my advice. I'm telling you what I'm thinking. Do your research. You disagree? Do something else. But I'm telling you, I think Timmy Cuamba is live to chin Chang Ho Lee and put on a really, really big performance in his debut at bantamweight and make a splash closing out the year with a serious win. Beating Chang Ho Lee in itself is impressive. Knocking Chang Ho Lee out in your bantamweight debut, 2 thumbs up, bro. Fuck the 1. Timmy Cuamba, I'm going Twilight. I'm going Timmy Turner. Chang Ho Lee's time to go down. We've been hunting him for a while. I think he's overrated. I felt like he's mediocre since the damn road to UFC fights, the Long Shao split. Romeus wasn't the guy to take him out. Cuamba is my hitman this weekend. We're going Cuamba, and we're going knockout. Next fight on the card, we got Kevin Christian versus Billy Elekana. I'm going with Billy Elekana. I don't even think Kevin Christian is UFC level, honestly. I feel he beat Francesco Mazzeo by submission, and Mazzeo's pretty mediocre. He was getting taken down left and right. He hits the triangle armbar. All right, 6'7", triangle armbar. Guy's overzealous in the guard. Fuck it, he's caught in that. But he's giving up takedowns left and right. He's like a low output, slow pace striker. Besides being 6'7", I don't like anything here about Kevin Christian. What I do like is Billy Elekana can box. Billy Elekana can wrestle. Billy Elekana had moments in the first round against Bogdan Gushkov, who's a top contender and fighting Jan Blachowicz. And then he easily shut out Ibo Aslan to a terrible fight. It was really boring. But he shut out a guy that was known for big power, a knockout slugger, and just out kickboxed him. That was, the fight that got him right. I think Elekana's starting to find his footing in the UFC, figuring it out. He's got knockouts outside of the UFC, but he also knows how to win a hard-fought decision. That's what I like about Elekana. It's not like he just needs a finish. He can push a 3-round pace. I think he's a better wrestler. I think he's a better striker. I think Kevin Christian has better pure jiu-jitsu, but MMA submission grappling, different conversation. I could see Elekana buzzsawing through Kevin Christian, out wrestling him, taking his back, and setting in the rear naked strangle. I like the chances of Elekana going out and winning, and I do think he's live for a finish. Now, we'll bring up the savages on the scales. First, let me get my guy, Elekana. I'm feeling excited as hell for this fight right here. I'm looking forward to Elekana showing out. I'm telling you, I was a doubter of Kevin Christian on that damn Contender Series. I was like, this guy's mediocre. And then he takes out an Italian. It is what it is. It is what it is. Elekana, the Samoan, looks ready for warfare. Looks good on the scale, in shape. I'm confident. On the opposite end, we got Kevin Christian. You're going to see in a second. He looks skinny fat to me, bro. He looks skinny fat to me. 6'7", barely a ounce of muscle on his frame. Thin and long. I don't think he's going to have the athleticism to deal with Elekana at all. Then we'll get the face-off up, and we can see how they look face-to-face. These guys, I will say, it was an awkward face-off. They chose to stand about, 10 feet away from each other. But you can see Kevin Christian tall, long arms. Looks like a basketball player. If you told me Kevin Christian was an NBA player, I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. UFC, he don't got that intensity about him. Whereas I think Elekana's got it. I think Elekana's going to be able to work him. I look forward to this fight. I'm actually genuinely excited to see Elekana show out. And I think this is a matchup that he could actually look really good in. And possibility that he breaks a Kevin Christian. Now, money line -260, -250. I think it's a good parlay piece. I think it's a real chance that he wins. Christian +220. If Christian's to win, probably a comeback submission. Looking at the side of how it happens, Elekana ITD around -120, -110. Decision +300. As far as the props go, the one that interests me the most is more the degenerate side. +600. Elekana to win by sub. It's degen, but it's not crazy. Like, I do think Elekana is pretty live to go out and win by a submission. If they grapple, he takes the back. Like, he had Bogdan Gushkov's back. He can't take Kevin Christian's back. Get the fuck out of my face. I think this is going to be one-way traffic. I think that Elekana stops him. Inside distance makes sense. He could win a 30-27. Could shut him out, but I think he's live to finish him too. Elekana and under 1.5, not great odds. Elekana spread, -165, not great. I think you want to chase the degenerate side of a submission. That's a real possibility. You could end up getting a knockout and then you're kicking yourself, but I can see Elekana taking his back and strangling him. And then obviously straight down the center, Elekana on the money line, -250. I think it's a pretty good call. I don't think Kevin Christian's UFC level. I think he's mid. I think he's mid. At best, he's mid. I think he could be really bad. So, yeah. The side of who? The side of Elekana to get it done with is the side that I'm going to stand tall on. So, let's go. Elekana for the W. And another guy I got the hitman out for. Kevin Christian, overrated Contender Series winner. Took out the Italian over a year ago, Mazzeo. He only had 4 fights. He's fighting a guy with way more experience. Has 2 UFC fights and is ready to go out and perform. And was a PFL prospect at one point. Elekana all day. Let's keep running. Next fight. Main card opener. If you guys are enjoying, make sure you hit that damn like button. And if it's your first time on the channel, subscribe. Keep it locked in. We got Nascimento versus Cody Durden. Durden stepping in on short notice, and he's stepping into an execution. If Nascimento loses this fight, I will be sitting back shell-shocked because I think Cody Durden is past his fighting prime. He's taking this fight on short notice, and he struggles with this level of jiu-jitsu in the past. Tigir Ulanbekov, he got submitted by Jimmy Flick years ago. And now he fights Nascimento? Nascimento's got the sub game. And we got an active Nascimento. You might be thinking, oh, but, the Filio fight was kind of a fluke. Understand that I'm picking Filio to beat Cody Durden 9 times. Nah, fuck that. 10 times out of 10. And understand that Nascimento had not fought for 2.5 years. And then beats Filio on the comeback. He's going to look better now. 5 months back in there. I like that. An active Nascimento is a problem here. And I think Cody Durden is going to get subbed up when they go to the ground. Durden can mix it up when Nascimento's striking. I think Durden's boxing chops are pretty solid. Like, he can sit in there and slug. He's got some pro boxing fights. and try to wrestle a bit, he's going to get subbed. If he tries and wrestles, he's going to get subbed. And he's going to eventually be pushed to the ground. I don't think it's just a kickboxing fight for 3 rounds, or I don't think Durden's just buzzsawing through Nascimento on the feet. I think Nascimento put some pressure on him. Durden might be forced into a wrestling sequence, but even if not, like I could see Nascimento against the cage taking his back. I think as soon as they get to, I don't even want to say the ground, I think just they get entangled with one another. I think it's high risk territory for Cody Durden. And I think Nascimento is going to be able to lock up a submission here. I'm going Nascimento by sub. It makes the most sense to me. I think it's like one of those fights that it feels like an obvious prediction, and it should come to light with the obvious pick hitting. Nascimento wins by submission. Durden, been submitted by good grapplers before, and I think Nascimento has the grappling tools to finish the job and submit him as well, especially a Durden taking this fight on short notice. I think that's a recipe for disaster. Okay? We'll bring him up on the scales. We'll see how the guys look here. We'll first look for Mr. Cody Durden. All right? We'll bring him up first because Cody Durden taking it on short notice. Look pretty good, right? It's a catchweight fight, 130. Also, I wanted to reiterate that point. Catchweight, 130. They're not doing it at 125. Was it initially supposed to be at 125 and they shifted it? I feel like it was supposed to be at 125 and they shifted it, but it could have been that just Tapology had it mislisted. But you know what? That's fine. Not cutting an extra 5 pounds. You got to remember, Nascimento struggles to make the fucking weight sometimes. Nascimento last time, he missed weight. He came in at 127.5, okay? So it's not like Nascimento's upset about this fight being 130-pound catch weight. This is a good situation for him. And I think it's better. I think I'd rather see, you know, a little extra poundage on him. And then Nascimento, he was already celebrating the success, man. Shoot Their Box guy. Shoot Their Box gym is on fire right now. They got the rhythm back. They were off for a while with some mid prospects. They got some savages, and they're making shit happen now. Then we'll pull up the face-off between the two. Let's feel the energy between the two at the face-off. We got Nascimento, who looks like a Brazilian tax collector, versus the All-American redneck in Cody Durden. You guys know I like my Savage Mode USA types, but I'm going Savage Mode Brazil in this one. He's going to collect your taxes, and he's going to strangle your ass. That's what I'm predicting. I'm going Nascimento. I'm going submission. I think he's going to clear the Cody Durden test. I think this is pretty good fight for him. Pretty good fight for him. I feel good about it. I feel good about it. Odds for the fight, pretty wide. I mean, Nascimento had 3-1 odds. At open, he was minus 300. He was minus 185. If you got lucky, you could catch him a little smaller. But now lines are back to where they opened up at, which makes sense to me. Plus 250 for Durden. Understood. Over is minus 110. Honestly, like, let me just look at the sub, bro. Like, fuck everything else. Nascimento to win via submission, plus 150. I'm going out in a whim, and I'm picking him by sub. Fuck the round, right? Fuck chase and all that. I got Nascimento by sub at plus 150. He hits. I think, like, you can 2-leg parlay it. Nascimento with Cuamba, close money. It was plus 155 when I locked it. It'll probably be a little wider now, but that to me is a great 2-leg lock city. But, like, if you're looking to chase one line, as I almost fucking pulled a Finch and spilt my water over here, we got plus 150 on the sub. Nascimento by sub makes sense. What's Nascimento in the under 1.5? Not saying to do this. This is degenerate. Nascimento, an under 1.5 round. Plus 200. I'd rather just go the sub, though. Save myself the damn headache. Save myself the damn headache. Anything else catching my eye? Not really. Nah. Nascimento wins by submission round 2 to 3, plus 400. I'd be so pissed off if he gets it in the first round, though. But you want to chase 4-1 odds. There we go. I like the plus 150 sub. I'm going to put a cycle parlay together at the end. We've been waiting for this Nascimento sub line because they didn't have it when we did Propaholics last night. And I'm grateful that we got it now. The call is Nascimento. The call is submission. I think he's going to show the grappling levels to Cody Durden. And I'm excited as fuck for this fight. So let's do it. Let's keep running up the card because this next one, good. Another good one. Another real good one. Charles Radtke versus Daniel Frunza. You ready for this? If you don't know, you're about to find out. I am picking Daniel Frunza to get the win over Charles Radtke in this fight. And you might be sitting there, this guy's a moron. You're crazy. Look at the way Chuck Buffalo knocked out a washed 11-7 Matthew Semmelsberger. Look at the way that he knocked out Gilbert Bina. He's turned out to be really trash and has terrible decision-making skills. Well, look how he beat Mike Mathet, the Blood Diamond. He was 3-2. He beat him by a decision. I have picked Radtke and I've been wrong in the past. I've picked Radtke and I've been right. I'm not picking Radtke here. Daniel Frunza is a good prospect, and I know what you're thinking. I can hear it. I can hear the fucking comments in my ear. He's a bum. Reese McKee, bro. Reese McKee dropped him. Understand that Reese McKee is freakishly tall and long, and understand that Reese McKee was catching him at the end of shots. Yes, and he had a great performance. Yes, Frunza's UFC debut against Reese McKee. It went bad. Okay, Reese McKee then followed that up with a shit fight against Axel Sola, but he had some moments. Okay, still. Okay, fair. Doctor stoppage. Frunza is known for getting rocked and coming back. Where Charles Radtke fails, when he hurts you and then you survive the onslaught. What happens when Radtke wins a dominant first round, puts everything out there, and blows his wad, looking to sleep Frunza? Frunza's got good comeback knockouts. He did it against Coetzee on the Contender Series, and Coetzee was a 17-1 prospect, blue chip. Coetzee was supposed to win that fight, and Frunza came back and pulled it off. Frunza's got knockout power. He's got a nasty straight right, never quits on himself, gets knocked down too often, yes, but his recovery is good. It's not, oh, he's got a weak chin. Okay, but he's got good recovery. So what? Radtke's 35. Frunza's taller. Frunza got a little tad bit reach advantage. Frunza not having to deal with a long striker. I'm telling you guys, man, I think Frunza's about to surprise some people. I'm going Frunza by second round knockout. That's what I'm calling in this one. Frunza, second round KO. Of course, the second round KO is DJ, and it could be at a different point, but I'm going Frunza second round knockout as the pick. I'm doing it. I don't care. I don't care. And then looking at the scales, you're going to see. You're going to see. You're going to see. Look at Frunza. Look at Frunza. He got the lopsided nipples, bro. Is that an illness, or is that like he was taking steroids at one point and it just, grew a little bit of gyno or something? I don't know. Got the pepperoni nipple, man, and then he's got the chocolate chip over there. Whatever. No jokes. All right, we're keeping it serious. I'm picking him in this fight. There he is on the scale. Look at this shredded savage. Look at this guy. Come on, get out of my face. You telling me Radtke's taking my guy out? The fuck out of here. No. Radtke flipping us all the bird. We got to censor that shit. We got to censor that shit, man. Radtke flipping us off, man. I think Radtke's going to come out swinging bombs. I think he's going to end up gassing, too. I'm taking him off the screen, man. I can't have the middle fingers up. It's not classy. We got to keep, listen, this is a classy stream, bro. Experts, classy picks, okay? And there's the face-off. Frunza a little bigger. I like it. Mike Malott just knocked Radtke out. Radtke is the hammer or the nail. He doesn't do well in adapting when things go awry. I don't think he's going to turn into Mr. Wrestler here either. I'm going Frunza. Frunza's going to upset him. I'm going Frunza for the knockout Saturday night. Oh, yeah. Plus 145 Frunza. Minus 170 for Radtke. Fight makes sense to end inside distance at minus 250. Fight ends in KO, TKO, or DQ, minus 135. I mean, probably. Radtke should try and grapple him. Radtke by sub is plus 550, but I feel like he's going to slug. Plus 225 for the KO for Frunza. Frunza wins second round, plus 7 to 800. Frunza wins second round KO, plus 800 to plus 850. I'm saying Frunza with a second round knockout. Saying Frunza sleeps him. Let's see. Frunza and over 1.5. I could end under 1.5. I'd rather just go Frunza money line or Frunza second round degen. Isn't it interesting? The significant strike stats have Frunza landing more. That's weird. Fuck the spreads. Fuck the spreads too. Give me Frunza KO. Frunza second round. Frunza money line solid too. I'm going with the underdog. I'm going with Frunza. I think he's going to shock Radtke here. I think some people are going to be looking shell-shocked, man. There's not enough respect on Frunza's name. He had a bad debut. But, you know, in win, Radtke had a bad debut, too, against a mid guy in Blood Diamond. And, yeah, he's looked dangerous in other fights since then. But not against good fighters. Frunza, upset. That's my side. Let's go. Next fight on the card. Isaac Dulgarian versus Yadier Del Valle. Going with Isaac Dulgarian. UFC experience edge. I think the better grappler. Has fought some decent competition. I mean, listen. Francis Marshall win. Impressive. Finish. More impressive. Controversial loss to C-Rod. He should have won that fight or it should have been a draw. So we got a guy that should be undefeated here. And then beat Brandon Murat. Took a year off. You might be worried, but I looked at his Instagram. He said he was fine-tuning some things. I think he wanted to take 1 year to make some final adjustments before giving this the fucking run of all runs. Del Valle, he's a good grappler too. It's grappler versus grappler. Dulgarian's a better wrestler. I think Dulgarian is more often than not the guy that ends up in top position. Del Valle has the habit of pulling gilly, jumping the gilly and getting silly. I don't see it. I think that Dulgarian's going to out-wrestle him. I think Dulgarian's going to be the guy that ends up in top position. I think Dulgarian wears him down from top position, potentially subs Del Valle. I just don't think Del Valle is the chosen one here. I think he's going to look to slug it out with some wild shots and mix in the grappling. But Del Valle's win is what? Connor Matthews in the UFC? What does that mean? Beat Monterio by a decision on Contender. Decent fight. People are very close with their picks on this one. Slight lean, though, towards a good-size underdog, Del Valle. We'll look at the scales, and then we'll also look at the odds in a second here. Let's first get these guys on the scale. All right, so Mr. Isaac Dulgarian, year off. Looks good on the scale. I say about as good as we'd expect. Looks ready to go. On the opposite end of it, we got to get his opponent. Where's this animal? Del Valle, the crazy Cuban. Listen, this is Cuba versus Armenia, man. I'm going with the Armenian Savage. But I will say, Del Valle looks fucking ripped for this fight. Both guys in high level of shape. And you look at the face-off, size between the two, very similar. Minimal advantages on either side. I just think Dulgarian's going to be the better wrestler. I'm curious to see how Del Valle deals with this pressure wrestling onslaught. I'm curious to see how he deals with being in bottom position. I mean, he looks great physically. Dulgarian took that year off, training with Yusuf Zalal at Factory X. Come on. He's got a good team behind him. I think that we're going to see Isaac Dulgarian win. He's training with some of the best featherweights. David Onama's there. There's good opposition in that gym every day that he works with that's superior to what, you know, Del Valle brings to the table, in my opinion. So I'm going to go towards the side of Isaac Dulgarian going out there and getting the hand raised. I feel pretty good about him getting it done. Minus 240, a little wide to money line, though. But I think he wins. Plus 205 for Del Valle. Over 2.5 is plus 115. Let's see. Dulgarian by a decision, plus 265 with inside distance, minus 110. Dulgarian by sub, plus 350. There's no real crazy line that I can find for this fight here. Well, I will say you could consider Dulgarian and the over 1.5 rounds. I actually think that's pretty live. Dulgarian and the over 1.5 was at plus 100 when I last saw it. Let's see what it's currently sitting at. Plus 105. I think this is live. I think Dulgarian wins, and it's live to go over a round and a half. I could see Dulgarian pushing a 3-round pace, getting a decision. Del Valle is going to be a beast to deal with on the ground. I do think Del Valle is the guy that ends up in bottom more often than not. His striking's all right, a little wild and reckless. These guys are similar to one another, but Dulgarian has more proof in the pudding of what he's been able to do, whereas I don't see that same thing with the side of Del Valle, you know? So I'm going to go with Dulgarian to get the hand raised. Close fight. I think that He'll get tested a bit by Del Valle. Both will grow from the spot, find out who's the prospect to watch, really. I'm going to say Dulgarian's wrestling is better and his top game is better. And Del Valle, when pressed in wrestling and dealing with a guy that stops his takedowns, ends up making some silly mistakes, pulling Gilly and things like that, and getting a little bit exposed here. So Dulgarian for the win is the prediction for me. Let's jump up to the next fight. It is the featured fight of the night. Jeremiah Wells versus Temba Gorimbo. Woo. Jeremiah Wells, justice. Jeremiah Wells, why justice? Gorimbo, he stopped building, was it that school he was supposed to build in Africa? I don't know. I feel like, was it a park? Now I'm forgetting. Shit. I should have had it prepared. I feel like Chael Sonnen off the cuff. Let me tell you this. I'm not high on either guy right now. Neither of these guys are breaking into the top 15. Wells been off for a while, yes. Year and eight months layoff. Terrible. Right, you can't lose to Vicente Luque. I can't pick you if you're getting finished by Vicente Luque, dropped and then strangled by Luque 10 months ago. I can't. I can't do it. Temba Gorimbo's okay. Striking is all right. His wrestling is all right. Wells has more punch power. Wells is also a decent wrestler. I think Wells has better jiu-jitsu than him. We've seen Gorimbo caught in some chokes before. Maybe Wells dust off some type of front headlock position choke here. I could see that. Looking at Jeremiah Wells' resume, he does have 4 wins by sub, so it's not like he hasn't strangled people before. But, you know, more often than not, as of late, in the UFC, he was known for the big power. He showcased big power in fights. He ended Matt Semmelsberger's career. Semmelsberger never looked the same after that fight. Literally looked like a corpse after it. And then Carlston Harris comeback sub against him. I think Carlston Harris is a better version of Temba Gorimbo, honestly. Max Griffin, split decision. It was a toss-up fight. And look at Max Griffin. Listen, he gave Chris Curtis a run for his money. Temba Gorimbo's wins. Nico Price. Nico Price. The Brahimaj win is nice, but it was a Brahimaj coming off a long layoff. Not the same Brahimaj we've seen lately. Pete Rodriguez, a journeyman. Takashi Sato, terrible. And then lost to Vicente Luque. I'm going with Jeremiah Wells. I can't back Temba Gorimbo here. I think Wells could hit him with big shots and knock him out. I think Wells could take him down and control him on top. I think Gorimbo's mid. Both guys are not on the cusp of contention or anything near that, but I would favor the side of Wells' punch power if they're slugging. And I think that his physicality on the ground could make this fight pretty interesting too. We'll check out both these guys on the scales. All right. We'll bring them up. First, we got Temba Gorimbo. Looking goofy as all hell over here. Goofy Temba. You know, he's got a picture of that Vicente Luque sub-loss as his wallpaper. I think he's manifesting another sub-loss here. Wells on the opposite side. Yeah, he's getting up there, but still looking freakishly jacked and in shape. He looks like an old retired police officer vibe. To be honest, that's the energy I'm getting. Ex-cop versus scammer. Temba Gorimbo. They settle it inside of the UFC Apex. I can't call him a con because I don't know if he's done anything like that. But you get what I'm saying. And let's get the face-off between the two. Let's get the face-off between the two. You can see that height advantage for Gorimbo. A little bit taller. I will say, though, one element is they don't look to be that different in height because Gorimbo not wearing shoes and Wells had shoes on. So the height difference is a little wider than this. So when they face off in the octagon, Gorimbo is the taller guy. Is a 3-inch reach advantage. Like, there are factors like that. But I think Wells can land some big shots. I think Wells can mix it up in the grappling. He still looks in prime shape. No slacking in the training, that's for sure. Gorimbo looks all right on the scale. I'm not blown away. I'm going Wells, man. I'm going Wells. I can't back them, but Gorimbo. I can't. I won't. I'll go Wells. Betting side of Wells, you got him at slight dog money, plus 115. I think he's a live underdog. Is he the greatest underdog ever? Maybe not. But I do think he's live to win. The issue is, you know, where is he at right now? 39 years old. It's the final push of his UFC career. And he knows that too. And I think he's trying to keep these checks coming along. So I'm going to say we see Jeremiah Wells for the upset. Now, odds of these props hitting, what are we thinking? Wells Gorimbo over 1.5. I say yes at minus 225. That makes sense. The spread on Wells to make it a close fight, the plus 3.5. It was minus 165 last night. Let's see what it sits at now. Minus 175. Makes a lot of sense to me. Degen, but like Wells to get a finish here. You're thinking maybe Wells by KO or submission. If you went Wells by KO, it's 3-1. You went excuse me, no, 5-1 for the KO. 5-1 for the KO, 4-1 for the sub live. Wells to win inside of the distance. Not great. Plus 180. That's crazy. For the underdog to have the worst inside distance line. I guess the thing Gorimbo by decision. That over 1.5 makes a ton of sense to me. But I do think there's a chance that Wells can lock him in something at some point, and Wells could club him with a big shot. But you're chasing Wells by sub at plus 400. If you believe in the manifestation that Gorimbo looking at him getting strangled every day is more often than not going to make it happen again, okay? Realistically, obsessing about the negative tends to bring more negative. Wells by sub, 4-1 odds. I think Wells live to win for sure. Plus 115. Slight money line favorite. I'll say that Wells comes back and pulls off the upset against an overrated guy in Temba Gorimbo. I think Wells is going to go out and do his thing. I like the Jeremiah Wells side more, for sure. Excited for the next fight. I'm feeling the energy already for the next fight. So let's keep running. Let's jump up to the next fight. Co-main event of the evening. Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Ante Delija. Earlier in the week, I picked the side of Ante Delija, which is like against my normal instinct because I am a Where's Waldo backer constantly. Why do I pick Delija? Why do I pick Delija? He's going to be like 25 pounds lighter. His striking looked great against Tybura, but it was the corpse of Tybura. How good is Delija really? Like, I picked him against Tybura, and it came to fruition beautifully. Ran through him. Tybura was fatter than he'd ever been, and Tybura looked checked out. He looks checked out of his fight career, and he should have lost to Mick Parkin. I picked Waldo against Pavlovich. Looking at it now, it's fucking nuts for that. Sergey Spivak, picked him there. Like, I've had some moments with Waldo. I've had some mistakes with Waldo. I've been flip-floppity. I've had some bad calls with Waldo. I've had some good calls with Waldo. Waldo's boxing is better. His takedown defense is good. Wow, most of the people picking Delija is crazy to me. Delija was a fucking decent PFL fighter. Maurice Green decision was ugly, though. Moldavsky chinned him. He beat De Castro and Tybura. He beat two mids as of late. Where's Waldo? Good body shots. Solid from the outside. Underrated speed. Let's look at the scales. Before I keep talking about it, I want to look at the scales. Let's see, when they face off, and let's feel the energy. So, we're first going to bring up side. Where's Waldo on the scale? And I'll tell you right now, I thought Where's Waldo looked pretty good on the scale. An in shape and excited Where's Waldo coming off a decision loss to Sergey Pavlovich, who's one of the best guys in the world at heavyweight. One of the best heavyweights on the planet. Ante Delija looking deceptively skinny here. Coming in light in the high 230s, which is kind of crazy to me. You'd think he'd want to have a little extra weight against a guy like Waldo. Maybe he's trying to use the speed, but I don't know. Does he just outbox Waldo? That's hard to do. There's the face-off between the two. Let's look at it. Fuck, man. The reason I picked Delija is the upside of him coming off the massive win and blitzing and stopping Marcin Tybura. Delija has good forward pressure, good straight punches, good takedown threat. But the thing is, Waldo, very hard to keep down, hard to take down. Waldo works well from the outside. He's kind of a decision merchant. He's got a ton of UFC experience at this point. His only recent loss is to one of the best guys in the heavyweight division. Delija training alongside Tom Aspinall. It's one of those fights where I really have to ask myself the question, can Waldo get the striking going, and how do they look when they tie up? I have a hard time seeing Delija just smother fuck Waldo up against the cage. I think Waldo can reverse that position all day. I think Waldo can outbox him. I think Waldo's the faster puncher. I think that Delia's got more power than him. I think Delija hits harder. A little light, though. Ante Delija, was he always this light in PFL? Was he that light? Against Moldavsky, Delija was 244. Against Maurice Green, he was 251. Against Scheffel, he was 241. Against Renan Ferreira, he was 242. Against Tybura last time, 239. This time, 237 and a half, dude. Ante Delija is a really low body weighted heavyweight for a guy this tall. Waldo's pop is decent, but he's not a knockout hitter, but he's got speed. I have been on a roll with pick flips this year. It's Halloween. Waldo's an underdog. I've been Mr. Pick Flip King as of late. I have slept on this shit for 5 nights considering a pick flip. From Sunday, I made the pick of Delija. I'm like, damn, do I really want to die on that hill? I don't think Delia's knocking Waldo out. If it's going distance, I think Waldo can mix it up with him. Delija is just, he's got the momentum and the what if factor. He hasn't fought the best in the world yet. Oh, I feel so torn, man. Oh, I'm sitting here arguing with myself about this one. I'm sorry, guys. This is the hardest pick for me. Because I really put it on the table and intended to pick flip. But like, I'm thinking of it seriously. I'm like, I know Delija's got good forward pressure. And Delija can mix in takedowns and put a pace out. But does Waldo have the ability to stay on that? Strike defense, throw some decent shots, hurt Delija coming forward, use his size advantage, defend the takedown, and win a close decision. Jesus. Let's flip the Zin can. The Zin can is telling me where's Waldo. It's a 50-50 fight. But something's telling me, trust the UFC veteran. I think where's Waldo barely wins. It's a 29-28 decision. This one could bite me in the ass, but I'm going to try to keep the pick flip streak alive. I'm going where's Waldo for the upset after the weigh-in. So who you want to trust? Me on Sunday or me now? Who you want to trust? I like Delija. I think Delija is pretty good. And if Delija wins, he's in the running for world title contention. Obviously, Tom Aspinall said he'll vacate the belt and just give it to him, which is stupid. Oh, we'll go where's Waldo. I'm fucking torturing myself. I think Waldo's got some upside here. I think this is a hard fight for Delija. I don't know how Delija fares with Waldo's boxing. And then if Delija can't get him down and they're just boxing from distance, Waldo's a plus 110 dog. What are the people picking? Nobody, bro, that's crazy to me. Everybody's all over Delija. Minus 130 for Delija. Listen, I think this fight goes over 1.5. I feel good about that. Over 2.5, very live at minus 130. Okay. And then decision win for the side of where's Waldo sitting at plus 275. I think it is live for a decision for Waldo. If Waldo goes out and gets a KO win, I hear my dog barking. The universe is telling me the underdog pick flip was right. I'm going where's Waldo for the upset, guys. Fuck it. I'm going pick flip mode. Let's keep the streak going on the pick flips, and let's get where's Waldo as a dog at plus money as the pick flip. It feels right. I've been on point with heavyweight underdogs. We did it with Pinto. We did it with Volkov. Even though that decision was testy, I'm happy he got it. I'd rather go damage over fucking lay and pray, and I think we're going to do it with Waldo here. Where's Waldo? Underdog. Let's do it. My heavyweight underdogs are on point, and I'm going with Waldo this time. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Main event. Make sure you guys hit that like button. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel too. All right? Steve Garcia, David Onama. My pick has been Steve Garcia all week. I think there's just too much time for him to eventually land some power shots. David Onama's best bet, and I'm telling you, it's going to be the game plan, is wrestling. Take Steve Garcia down, wear on him, hold him down, grind him out. Try to honestly gas him and then get some shit working later. But I don't think Steve Garcia has a questionable gas tank. Steve Garcia is a guy that can push a hard striking pace, but he also can defensively wrestle fairly well. And his violent intentions on every shot tell me that David Onama's getting clipped. We saw Roberto Romero catch Onama with an overhand shot and hurt him. I think Onama struggles with the chaotic pressure striking attack of Steve Garcia. I think Garcia is going to start pressing fairly early in the fight, but I will say I'm curious to see how both of these guys are going to adapt to a 5-round UFC main event, right? Is there going to be more of a calculated pace early for Steve Garcia? Or is he going to just do the usual? Start the fight fast, put the pressure on, and look to throw hard. He didn't look tired in 3 hard rounds against Calvin Kattar, and he landed big shots there. I think Steve Garcia is going to put David Onama away. I think Steve Garcia gets another knockout and gets 7 wins in a row. And I think John Silva is next for Steve Garcia if he goes out there and gets the finish. Now, I feel as though the side of David Onama to land the takedown makes sense. So when we talk about the gambling side for a second, we'll get into it in a moment. Let me first jump to the scales. I'm getting too excited, guys. I'm actually hyped. There's some good fights on this card. This is a good Apex card. There are some fucking duds. Every Apex has shit fights. But as far as some of these bigger fights on the card, there's some matchups that have me pretty excited. Like Steve Garcia, David Onama is a fight that's on a UFC pay-per-view. There is Steve Garcia looking stylish as hell. Got the shades on. Do I got to rock my shades for this? Shades at. I had shades. I swear to God I had shades in here. I do got shades here. I dropped them. Holy shit. Listen. Steve Garcia swag, bro. Steve Garcia to go out and handle. I think Steve is going to end up putting David Onama away. I think he looked great on the scale. Looks ready to go. I think he's going to push a pace on Onama that Onama can't keep up with. Striking, just too many weapons, man. Onama's got some sneaky, underrated power, and he does have some deceptive hand speed, but trust me, he's going to be trying to wrestle, and I don't think the wrestling-heavy game plan matches against the violent intent of Steve Garcia, who's good with all of his weapons. It's not just punches, kicks, knees, elbows. He does it all. He puts you in a fucking blender. David Onama looked amazing on the scale. Shredded, in shape, per usual with David Onama. Listen, I've had some good David Onama picks in the past, but Steve Garcia is the A side here. Steve Garcia is the side that goes out and handles business. And then we'll look at the fighters on the scales, facing off, actually, rather. Face-off action. Let's feel the energy. There it is. Both guys look good. Obviously, Onama freakishly jacked. Garcia a little more on the skinny wild man side. A little bit of a reach advantage for the side of Steve Garcia. Only 1 inch. Shouldn't make a big difference, especially with Garcia looking to get in range and throw bombs. I expect this fight to heat up. It could be in round 1. I'm curious to see how they adapt to a 5-round pace. At this level, it's unknown because both of these guys' UFC careers have been 3-round fights. I feel as though Onama looks to wrestle. Onama looks to take him down, control from top position, and wear on Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia's intent is going to be getting back up to his feet and throwing hammers, making David Onama uncomfortable. I think he melts to the pressure. I think the pressure of Steve Garcia is going to be too much for David Onama, and I think Steve Garcia is live to put him away with multi-shot combinations, with violent intent, all about it. Let's look at the odds for the matchup. Steve Garcia, slight favorite, -130. Onama, +110. I look at the prop side of things here, okay? And I think to myself, D-Gen, but Garcia wins in round 2, kind of has a ring to it. +500 for Garcia round 2. I also think that Onama to hit 1 takedown is pretty live. Let's see if the odds have changed. If not, I have the odds written down next to me because I wrote down these props beforehand. Onama over half a takedown, -175. It's been bet up. If you tuned into Propaholics last night at +100, we like that line. Now, not as good at -175. I do think Garcia by KO at -105 makes sense. I also think that you could consider Garcia and the under 2.5 rounds. Not great, though, +130. I feel like at that point, just money line him. Garcia by KO, slight favorite status, -105, not much. I don't think Onama's going to be able to survive 5 rounds with Steve Garcia. At some point, I think Garcia's power is going to carry, and he's going to end up putting David Onama out. But trust me, Onama will try to wrestle, and I'm sure he'll succeed on at least 1 takedown. Garcia's get-up game is good. His relentless striking attack is going to overwhelm David Onama, and I think ultimately it's going to break him. I like Steve Garcia to go out and win by KO. That's my prediction for the main event. Too many weapons in the striking. Too confident, relentless right now. Violent 6-fight win streak, and I think he pushes it to 7 with a sick KO as well. That'll make 6 out of the last 7 by knockout too, and 25 minutes to do it. I think Steve Garcia goes out and handles. I like him to win the main event of this card. I'm hype as hell, man. David Onama and Steve Garcia is a firefight, and I think Steve Garcia puts it on him and gets a violent W. Now, those are the predictions for the card, but I do want to discuss some of the parlays. We've talked about some of the safer ones throughout the week. Nascimento, Elekana, -104, I like, especially after Johnson had that little staff. Be cautious with that. Then Nascimento, Cuamba, Lock City, +155. Nascimento, Elekana, and Johnson at +152. But honestly, I want to create a new slate. I want to create something different. I'm feeling something else. Waldo Nascimento, +201. I already was after it because I was like, I think that's good. I got something different though. I got something I want to spin. I want to finagle it a little bit different. All right. I've been waiting for this section. All right. Something that spoke to me today. I was like, okay, so the side of, let's say, Nascimento, right? And we're like, okay, I think the side of Cuamba wins. All right. I really liked how Elekana looked on the scale. Plus 257, cheeky little three leg that I think's got a chance to come to fruition. Now, obviously, we already talked Waldo, Nascimento, plus 193. You added in Cuamba, plus 448. You added in Elekana, plus 667. You added in Frunza, you got plus 1818. DGen Savage mode? Absolutely. Possible to hit? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you tuned into Propaholics last night, we were kind of going crazy. We did a little halfway to the cycle parlay. Garcia by KO and Waldo by decision at the plus 600 range. But I'll spin it one last time. So if you think Garcia goes out and wins by knockout, which I feel like if he's to win, come on, it's got to be a KO. So Garcia by KO. All right. Where's Waldo to win by a decision? All right. I think he gets a competitive decision. I was, tossing and turning, but I knew eventually I would succumb to the Where's Waldo savagery. Plus 670. And then if you also like Nascimento by sub, here's the cycle of the week. DGen cycle to fucking cash some real plus money. Bang. Plus 1862. And if you want to do it the cycle on steroids, you're blasting some fucking trend with this play. You go Frunza by knockout. Plus 6,965. That right there is the true cycle and a half. That's going all in. You think Timmy Cuamba wins? You got plus 1,300. Plus 13,000. You're like, fuck it, though. I think Cuamba by KO. Let's go for it. Plus 42,290. All right. I'm going nuts now. See what happens here? We'll go DGen. Because, you can always say this could happen, and that could happen. It could. You want to go round prop DGen mode? All right. We'll go Garcia, round 2. Okay. Plus 600. I'll zoom it in a second. I know some of you guys can't see. And then we're going to go the side of Frunza, round 2. Where's my boy Frunza in round 2? Bang. Plus 6,650. We got more, though. We're going Where's Waldo on the judges' scorecards. Waldo to win by a decision. Where's Waldo by decision? Makes sense to me. Plus 24,505. Then if you took it another step further, and you don't want to pick the round. This one, fuck picking the round. Sub for Nascimento, plus 62,000. Fucking DGen. Jesus. I'm not telling you go out and actually do this. This could hit. Plus 117,202. Instead, you want to go for the KO. You fuck it. All right. Plus 376,357. That is DGen. That's sprinkle. That ain't where the safety lies. We cover the real deal safety parlays. This is just me having a good time doing some DGen shit. But I do think Where's Waldo's a live dog. I do think Frunza's a live dog. Plus 438. It makes a lot of sense to me. I think this parlay is solid. You want to just go fucking Frunza by KO. Solid in the means of underdog. Frunza by KO. Bang. You're like, fuck it. I'm not going Waldo money line. Yeah, let me join you on Waldo decision. Bang. Plus 1,200. There you go. This makes sense. DGen, another side of it. Nascimento by sub. You don't want to play Garcia in the cycle parlay. You want to spin it your own way? Bam. Plus 3,297. Okay? Zoom it in a little more. Now, W to the people. I love you, savages. Be cautious with your calls. Donte Johnson should go out and win. Odds are not great for him to win. There's more, lucrative lines that are closer to bet on. I do think he does win. But, something worth mentioning is that knee was staffed up, it looked. After the weigh-in, I don't know. I tried to find it. From the angle I saw, it looked okay. But there's nothing close up enough to really get a strong tell. So we shall see. And I know my brother's crazy ass is going Cedric with Dumas, so he has me a little bit nervous, man. He has me a little bit nervous. And then just the final one step further, Jay, I'm going to call it. The over 1.5 rounds, bang, with Nascimento, bang, minus 110, with Dumont Vieira, over 2.5, bang, plus 139. Little 3-leg parlay, 2 overs, an over 1.5, over 2.5, and Nascimento probably comes through. Timmy Turner Cuamba there, plus 346. Bang, bang, bang. Okay. Bang, 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 plus 1,000. All right. I got to chill the fuck out, man. You guys got to stop me, bro. You guys got to stop me. I love you, savages. Thank you guys for watching this week's weigh-in recap show. Keep it locked in with the channel. Hit subscribe. Turn the post notifications on too. And don't just leave them on personalized. Put them on all so you don't miss a video. You don't miss a live stream. I'll be live Monday through Saturday per usual, so keep it locked in with your boy. W to the people watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Nothing to say. W in the comments to boost the algorithm. Like the damn video, and I'll see you all in the next one. And hype it too. That's a new thing YouTube is doing. So hype the video up as well. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. See us for the fight companion. Happy Halloween. Peace out.